Welcome to the Getting Started with the Evaluation Tool for Content clip, the second in a series. If you haven't watched the introduction clip, it may well be useful to do so before watching this video. Okay, let's get started. My name's John Diel, and this clip looks at the initial steps when using the Evaluation Tool for Content. As with all video clips, viewers can watch, rewind, fast forward, pause, etc. as often as they like. Okay, let's open up the Evaluation Tool for Content and start to look at the elements that make up the user interface. When you open either the VLE or the Virtual Campus versions, it will look like this, but will just have a different image here. That's the only difference. For this video, I'm using the VLE Evaluation Tool for Content version, as those of you using YouTube won't have access to the Virtual Campus version. One thing before we progress, for consistent use of the Evaluation Tool for Content, it's a good idea to have more than one person to independently evaluate the content and then compare the outcomes. Resulting discussions will be important for the resulting quality of the content. Let's take a closer look. I suggest that when using the Evaluation Tool for Content, which will open in a browser, users press the F11 key to go full screen, hiding the browser toolbar. At the top of the screen, they will then see some fields to fill in at the start of the process. The fields are, and they're all highlighted as I go through, the type of resource, the resource title, the curriculum area that it's aimed at, the level of the content you're evaluating, and the estimated time for learners to complete. Obviously, some will take longer and others less time. Users should note that the date for any evaluation using this tool is automatically entered. Underneath the text fields are two buttons, Clear and Restart and Back to the Previous Page. The latter, Back to the Previous Page, is the one most users find useful, allowing them to revisit and or change options before they progress. Underneath the logo is text that summarizes what we looked at in the first video. Useful text to jog our memory about how the Evaluation Tool for Content works. If you scroll to the very bottom of the screen, you will locate the Evidence and Actions section. This is provided so that those of you who are evaluating content can record evidence to back up your choices as you use the tool, and actions to be taken to enhance, revise, improve the current and or proposed resources. There's also a reminder to note issues that need to be remedied before content is approved for use. Things like accuracy, authenticity, clarity, appropriateness, copyright, the list goes on. Note, clicking and dragging the bottom right hand corner of the text input box will allow users to increase the size of the text box if required. Also note that it's good practice to print the final page upon completion of the evaluation so you have a record. And when I say print, I mean as a PDF, although some may prefer a hard copy on paper. Last but not least on our user interface is the Start button. I can hear some of you thinking, at last. Clicking the Start button takes users to the first part of the Evaluation Tool for Content. I've only included the center panel here as the top and bottom elements remain the same, except for any text added by the user. This is the overview page and it has three main elements. The identified current position data is one element. It shows, I hope obviously, the 5 elements that we talked about in the first video clip and the current running score or total score. Users may want to use the back and previous page buttons at times to see what effect it has on the points awarded if they choose different options. Then there is, as the second element, the main body for each screen, where users will be provided with information, questions and more. For this particular overview page, we have got a reminder to fill in the text boxes at the top of the screen and the explanation of how the table that I've just looked at changes as options are selected by the user. It also stresses again that the fit for purpose must be considered at the end of using this tool. Then we have the initial questions that we should ask about any content that we're considering using with learners, plus a reminder to note any issues in the bottom text box. This is followed by what to do if there are issues, and if there aren't any issues, to use the third element. In this case, there's just one option, and users will find as they work through the evaluation tool for content that there will be a range of options to select from. Clicking the select button will start the evaluation by looking at the range of media used in the content that they are evaluating. That's all for this Getting Started clip, and when you're ready, take a look at the next clip, which is looking at a content's range of media.